So you're IT for the hospital, and you've been an employee of the month, employee of the year.
Yes, employee of the month twice.
Nice.
They changed the rules, so I got in twice. That was nice. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, did that.
Yeah.
Came from Hendrick, came from Texas Oncology. So I've been doing IT professionally since 2007.
Why'd you come over here from there?
No driving. No driving, and get to have hands-on in more things and not just one certain job.
Yeah.
And so that was nice to spread out and learn more things.
That's cool.
Phone systems, some networking, a lot of hardware, printers. We get to do pretty much everything here.
Oh, nice.
West Texas, I always talk about West Texas. You do what you have to do. You know, you can't call a phone guy and wait 2 weeks for a phone guy here. You know, we don't have, like Dallas, you call a phone guy and he's going to be there that afternoon. West Texas, you might get a guy.
Yeah.
But so you got to learn how to do things. That's just the way it is out here.
Self-reliant type stuff. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like TJ, he talked about you, and I was telling him how nice it is and refreshing to have somebody who's a coworker talk kindly about somebody else. You know, so what is it like when you think about what you do that people appreciate? What do you think it is?
People remember how you make them feel more than what you do. And so, and that kind of plays into, I mean, whether you work in the cafeteria, floors, whatever, I mean, how you make someone feel is more important than, and then getting the job done. And I like to say when I take a ticket on or take a job on, even if I don't know the answer, I'll lead it all the way through to some good resolution. So that's kind of where I've always stand with the last several places I've been, especially in IT, even on personal levels. Take ownership of it, lead it all the way through to resolution. If there's no resolution, you have to at least offer, say that we can't fix it, but this.
Sure. Don't leave them hanging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. How do you feel about the profession as a whole for IT? Do you think it's, has need for more of what you just talked about? Do you think
there's a lot more need for soft skills leading into it? People think you're going to do IT, you're going to be in a room somewhere, but 90% of the jobs you're going to do customer service at some point. I have to interface with the user, the customer, whoever's calling for the need. And it's just, the field's growing. I mean, it's such a broad market now. It opened into cybersecurity, which is huge now, and then programming, database. It's just exponentially growing every day, and so there's not really a clear path. There's not really just one path for IT now.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and we're curious, like, what does the future look like from an AI perspective? How is it going to help you in what you're doing?
AI can help in a lot of ways as far as security, as far as especially email security. AI has been around for a long time. Your routers and switches, they use AI to look at packets that come in and they determine whether it's malicious or not. AI is only going to improve that. I just watched a white paper about that because there's more and more malicious actors out there. AI can determine if something's coming from overseas, something's coming from, look at the wording in it. Is it misspelled? Is it urgent? It can use more factors to determine before it even gets to a human being if it's malicious or not. As far as taking jobs, everybody's worried about everybody losing their jobs, but I see maybe switch from more in-depth programming kind of things to more security-wise things. And so I think someone still has to run the show, give it the parameters, but it's still going to have somebody have to run that. It's going to be really good for security. It's going to be more in depth. It's going to be something that somebody's going to put dollars on because it's the buzzword right now because Elon Musk said it. So
I think the popular topics are, kind of, like you said, swayed by celebrities, but when you start getting down into like the real life of what this could mean for healthcare, there is some, trepidation, but there's also, I think, some excitement, and it just kind of depends on your perspective. I think, are you bringing in the perspective positively? Or are you going to have a negative perspective? Are you scared of something,
From a medical perspective, you look at decision support systems, which we've been talking about for 15 years, where a patient may be a certain age, a certain risk factor, and it suggests the doctor, the practitioner to suggest a pneumonia vaccine, or maybe get a flu test, or maybe get this or that based on certain criteria, something that the doctor might miss, something that might not be otherwise seen. The AI can help in that factor to help them make a diagnosis and catch something that would have not been caught by just simple observations. And so it's something that's been in place. They used to call it algorithms, but now it's, decision support systems, AI. It's just what buzzword they use to me, but things have been in place and they're only getting more helpful as far as catching what's not seen.
Sure. Let me ask a different question. How do you like to be led?
I think leadership is important. As IT, we're pretty independent working. I think given a project, given parameters, and then given support, and then supporting ideas is very important as leadership. But we work very independent. That's the way IT is. You can't micromanage IT. You have to kind of roam and solve problems, because at the end of the day, that's what we do. We solve 1 million problems a day, and it's not the same problems as yesterday, not the same as last week, last month, 6 months. We have to think on our feet. And so it's good, efficient to let us just run independently and then come back in the middle of what projects are important, due dates, priorities, those sort of things.
Right. So like here in a hospital this size, you're probably the expert, the go-to person for a lot. Do you see, like in the future, IT changing what you do and focus on most based off of some of these advances that we're seeing?
Yeah, I think focus on passwords is becoming less. I think people focus on that a lot. I think as we're actually implementing a lot of single sign-in with badge readers and things, and that helps with that. That'll make that less. We're more focused on why did this do this, implementing new projects, going through, and I've lost the words I was going to go to, but things more aggressive, something that takes a little more investigation to solve why it happened. Paths, why things fell into this path instead of this path. And cybersecurity, we always have to worry about cybersecurity because we're seeing it every day.
It does seem like cyber attacks are a little more prevalent nowadays.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not just from here, but I'm hearing about it from other places as well in the community that they're getting attacked from, it seems like, all sides. So,
and it's not just computer stuff. We'll get phone calls from people, and then they'll change their phone number and call us again. We get attacks, and some attacks last 24 hours, some last a week. But it's not just healthcare; it's schools, it's local city governments. Everybody's getting hit, and whoever's a soft target, they're going to get hit and go for bigger targets.
How do you feel like the pay in the industry is? Do you think it's where it needs to be to attract the right kind of talent into your world?
It's caught up a lot.
Okay.
I think that's what drew me in from teaching at the technical college here. I had a baby. My wife had a baby. I didn't have a baby. And I had to do a grown-up job, and then went into the industry. And I think the big thing is people are seeing that IT is needed, seeing that you have to have computers. The Affordable Care Act has driven a lot in healthcare, meaningful use, all these criteria where we have to prove to the government that we're using, first off, that we have a system, that we're using a system, that we're protecting our patients. We have to prove that. And so it takes teams of people. I mean, and then, of course, the good thing about here is you've got personalized care. We got clinical informatics here. We've got 3 IT guys here. You call us, we show up. A lot of places will tell you my IT department sucks. I call them. They may show up. They may tell me to just reboot it, and then they delete the ticket. We're personalized care. We're personalized touch. You can't outsource that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You outsource to India, they're not coming here.
Right.
You'll never see them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you think about like how to attract people, it's more than just pay. I'm sure that, like you said, the independence, the ability to have ownership over what you're doing, the work environment, right? I mean, things like that, you're pretty big on work environment as well.
Training, learning new things, access to tools. Those are what motivates IT people. You got to give them things, give them something to get their hands dirty in so they can learn and grow.
Yeah.
and build ownership on. This is, oh, I can do printers now. Yeah, I can do this. That's big for someone coming in. I want to learn something.
Sure.
That's especially important for talent coming into IT.
Yeah. Now there's like a lot of projects that go on in healthcare, and to me, a project is really an opportunity for people to point fingers at each other, like, so how do you feel about your role or IT's role in big projects that have to do with technology? Do you feel like you want to own it, or do you feel like you just want to be very clear, like have a racy chart of who's responsible and accountable and all that stuff? How does that work for you guys?
We'd like to be brought in and then be at the table and then contribute our part. There's some parts, some equipment we don't touch, but they have a potential to touch our area. So cabling, all that sort of thing. It's kind of a group effort, and always is, between construction, IT, management, what the goals are. And sometimes if IT is not at the table at the beginning, questions don't get asked, and then projects fail because you can't do that. That's not possible. We don't have that's going to be a $10,000 investment that we didn't think we needed. The IT can stream that, lead that. And we may not be the precursor of it, but we can definitely assist with it.
Sure.
So it's good to have a seat at the table.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of research that goes into this stuff, right? Before their action is taken, right? So seat at the table could be proactively before they go down a path, and then planning and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a time-consuming thing.
Yeah, if anything involves an interface, that's $10,000 to $20,000 before you even purchase a product. You're $10,000 to $20,000 just getting started. And so that's where a lot of projects fail, is that they need more investment in something that they didn't budget for. And so it's good to have a salon to lead that.
So what is it about Rolling Plains Memorial Hospital specifically? Like, do you think you guys are leading in this region? Do you think you're ahead of the game? Do you feel like this hospital's, on its way up? Is there an excitement or a buzz? How do you feel about the hospital?
I think we're catching up. I think we're getting there. We have a lot of tools. We have a lot of, as far as IT security, we've got probably above and beyond.
Nice.
We have Arctic Wolf and a few things to watch over our traffic. We've got some very heavy firewall filtering. So as far as security, I think we're doing really well. We're involved in 365 Office. We're doing a lot of things to improve performance and that sort of thing. And we've got brand new switches, brand new phone system. And so I do think we are not leading, but we are catching up, and we are doing quite well for a hospital this size.
Yeah, it feels like you're encouraged. Okay, that's exciting. I mean, for a hospital, 50-bed hospital, in my experience, it's like it's really cool to have IT at all, frankly, and then to have people who are aspiring to get better, who are on their way. Like, hospitals are closing all over the place, and they're like, stay open is really job number one, stay alive. And then after that, it's like, scrap to get wherever you can. And so it's really refreshing to hear that you're, kind of looking forward to the future, it sounds like.
Yeah. And not even talking about IT specifically, but I mean, how has the culture changed in the last year or so and within the hospital? I mean, has there been any specific changes or any drastic changes within the hospital in the last, I don't know, since COVID, I would say? I mean, have we?
I think I think IT is very accepted here, and we're seen as like a seat at the table. We have to be part of it. I think with everything that's happened, everything with COVID, everything with, that involved a lot of telehealth, a lot of different things. Us in clinical informatics, we've had to be relied on more. And I think that not just that, but I think the culture in general respects IT. And I think that's a big thing. You come in places and IT is like, IT guys, whatever. I think that is a big thing about here, is we're seen as equal department and a very important department.
Well, not just because you're sitting here, but you're a big part of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about the doctors and, what drives them to come out here, what's motivating to them. And then we're always kind of talking about, well, the people, there's kindness here. There's less complication, stuff like that. And I'm sure coming from where you've come from, you've seen a difference like that, right? In this community versus others. What are your thoughts on just that, the people?
People are pretty nice here. People stop and help you. You go to bigger hospitals, you'll get run over by carts and things, and there's just a lot of traffic in and out. But here even somebody even looks lost, we stop and help them, and we get them through the halls and that sort of thing. Yeah. And we have Allen's Fried Chicken, so we do it here.
I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we appreciate this, man. It's like, we are getting ready to have a lot of people come through, but it's always nice to get, frontline workers, people who are in the grind,
Yeah.
Is there anything that from a technology perspective that you're particularly looking forward to?
We're kind of steady right now. I think we're just continuing to push more things in radiology, which radiology is one of my favorites. Radiology is a lot of back end things that push and pull, and there's just magic you don't see. Yeah. And so radiology is kind of one of the big ones. I've always loved radiology. OB department's growing, and that's going to probably lead to more software. I don't know. We'll see what they bring in, but I think right now we're maintaining, and we're just kind of doing what we're doing right now. I think we bought everything right now we're going to get. But
yeah, right.
We'll see what's coming.
Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like the foundation, that's good. Get yourself steady so you can take on, the growth.
We just purchased Arctic Wolf, and that's still ramping up. Arctic Wolf is a security software that kind of overviews the entire site. And so we're looking forward to working with them and seeing what reports they give us, and then into more filtering, because you can't have enough security on the site. So that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah. I'm just curious, what's your budget? Like, how much does IT spend in a given year?
Oh, I don't know that. Just annual contracts, you're looking at $3 or $4 per appliance. We have 3 Philips servers. Each Philips contract is about $3,000 to $8,000 a year just to maintain support with them, so we can do updates and if something breaks on site, if you have a contract, then you don't have to pay as much. Sometimes they want $3,000 just to show up in Dallas.
Yeah.
But someone else could give you more into that. But I know
it's
kind of like if you say you're having a wedding or a funeral, the flower shop adds $10 to everything.
Right.
So you say healthcare, it's going to be $1.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Do you have any third-party companies that you rely on out here?
We use Mandry Technology out of Lubbock, Texas. They're kind of what I call the tier 2.
Okay.
They do kind of our servers, our switch support. They're kind of where we don't know, they know, and they get involved in. They do a lot of the Arctic Wolf, a lot of the Meraki switches, a lot of the stuff that we don't manage. They do step in and help us with.
Okay.
And so they've been a big help.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing we have right now.
Yeah,
we do have printer support, printer breaks, we call somebody, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we do have a few contracts that we do with that.
Yeah, but then like you said at the beginning, you got to figure it out typically, right? How to do it yourself. And does it feel like a defeat when you have to call somebody in? Do you feel like, man, I wish I could have done it, but or is it just like part of it?
It's part of it.
Okay.
With the printers, that's what they get paid for. They come out of San Angelo, and so we do a lot ourselves just to kind of alleviate, because his area is huge. And so if we can do it, we do it. If we can do something to get it done now, we do it.
I see. Like first call stuff. Yeah.
But if we don't, we call somebody, and they either guide us through it or help us with it or just do it,
Yeah. Are there any local associations for you and your profession around, around Sweetwater, Abilene? Do you guys ever get together as IT professionals?
No, the IT people are very hermit.
Right? Yeah.
No, I go see, every once in a while I have lunch with the guys from Hendrick when I see them at Skeets and that sort of thing. And we kind of talk about, and it doesn't matter where you go, we still talk about the same stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I come from the biomed world. It's the same thing, just a lot of sort of introverted people. And, they have associations, but it's like you got to pull their teeth to go to actually physically go.
To actually go to
meeting.
somewhere.
Yeah. They have fun sometimes, but it's hard to get them out.
It has to be a Star Wars movie or something.
Yeah, right.
Marvel.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this.
All right.
It's good sport.
Appreciate it.